Today on CityCast Chicago, will Mayor Johnson's affordable housing plan make it through the city council? Do you need a real ID? And what are some of Chicago's biggest foods? Yes, you heard me correctly. It's Tuesday, April 15th. I'm Jacoby Cochran, and this is what Chicago is talking about. I'm joined by none other than executive producer extraordinaire Simone Alicea. Morning, my friend. How was your weekend?
Hey, morning, Jacoby. It was okay. I went to a boat party this past weekend.
No, I need you to break that down a little more thoroughly. Was you on a boat?
I went to R&B versus hip hop on a boat.
Come on, G, tell me more about this.
It was a friend's birthday party. She got a table, and so yeah, we went. It was like a 3-hour cruise around Lake Michigan. We had 2 DJs, 3 floors. It was a good time.
Oh, that sounded like a big ass boat, though.
I thought it was going to be bigger. We all thought the boat was going to be much bigger than it was, so it was very crowded. And DJ was
how
pretty
much
good.
of the music did you know?
A good 10%. Yeah.
Well, man, I wish I could shake your head through the camera. A good 10%.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. But it's fun because you literally just had a conversation with Jeffrey Bear about the lakefront last week, and then you got out there 3 hours. It's very fun.
It was beautiful. It was cold because, it's still not quite warm out. So when you were out on the top deck and you were going really fast, it was also wild to be dancing because it was rocking. Yeah. And so, between that and the alcohol, the balance was at an all-time low. But yeah, it was a good time. It was super fun. There was food too. It was catered. Yeah, it's a good time.
That's amazing. This weekend on Friday, I went to see The Pillow Man. Really immersive experience. You're sitting right amongst the play as it happens. On Saturday, I went out to the Whistler, got back over to Daisy's for the first time in Logan Square in a couple of months. They have this spaghetti with rabbit and celery that is so good, so creamy. It's one of the best pastas I've had this year. And then on Sunday, I got back to D&D. The campaign it's going to be long. I think it's going to take up all of 2025. And so I may have intermittent updates during these Tuesday team chats, but so far, so good.
Fun. I love it. I'm excited to hear more.
Simone, last year, Mayor Johnson got his $1.25 billion bond measure approved by the city council. It's an effort to provide more affordable housing across the city of Chicago. He's trying to take another step in that plan that even as we speak is currently being debated in city council. What is Mayor Johnson trying to do?
Yeah, this is a really interesting proposal, and I kind of wanted to spend a little time looking into this because not a lot of other cities are doing this. So what he's trying to do is he wants the city of Chicago to create its own nonprofit, and that nonprofit would develop housing. And the way that would work is using $135 million in seed money from that bond that you mentioned, as developers want to develop projects, specifically affordable housing projects. This nonprofit would then lend that money to these developers. There would be stipulations, of course. There has to be a certain percentage of units, set aside for affordable housing. It also has to meet, certain eco standards. This has been referred to as green social housing. But what makes this really different is basically the nonprofit lends the developer the money. The developer builds this building with some market rate units and some affordable units that are, below market rate. And what would happen is when people start paying rent in those units, the developer, in paying off the loan, would then take those rents and pay it directly back to the city. So it's kind of like a revolving fund that this nonprofit could then use to fund other housing projects around the city.
With Chicago looking at a shortfall of over 120,000 affordable units in the city, and this project trying to build ultimately about 400, my question is, why does the city need to create another middleman here? Why not just lend out $135 million to developers? Why not give the money to CHA to do it, the Department of Housing?
Well, this is the Department of Housing, essentially, right? So let's
Okay.
talk about CHA here for a second. The thing about the Chicago Housing Authority is housing authorities get most of their funds from the federal government, from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. We talked about this last week, I think. And as we know, federal funds are in question every which way, right? In every department right now. Beyond the sort of current uncertainty, the federal government has also, over the past couple generations, invested less and less in public housing, right? Before, where you had the city taking those federal funds and building big public housing projects, right?
I guess I understand that part. I was just wondering, I figured the city already had the mechanisms. I wonder what's the need to create like this sort of pseudo nonprofit arm in which I imagine they then need to have employees and a staff that needs to be funded versus just saying we have this housing fund of 135 million that that developers can apply for, that organizations can apply for. Why is there a need for the nonprofit part of it?
I think partly because the Department of Housing is not really a loan granting agency. Like that's not really how they function. The way that affordable housing is subsidized. And again, when we say affordable housing, it's typically it's housing that is offered at a rent that is below the market rate rent, typically, calculated by a percentage of the area median income, right? In order to incentivize developers to include units that are below market rate, the most common way to do that is through tax credits, right? It's say you can pay less in taxes if you will build these affordable units. Of course, that is not the most effective incentive around. It's not ideal on the city side of things. I think the creation of this sort of nonprofit developer arm gives them a little more flexibility in terms of, for example, they'd be able to approve projects that require less than $5 million in funding without city council approval. Mm-hmm. Now, that said, there are city council members who have a lot of questions about the oversight of this.
I was going to say, this is another city entity that the mayor would control the board members. But how have alders maybe pushed back on maybe wrangling in some of that control?
I think there's just a lot of questions. I mean, so last week there was a hearing that lasted about 4 hours where, the Department of Housing officials and others in the mayor's office, faced a lot of questions from alders. They met again on Monday for 3 hours. They're going to meet again on Wednesday, the committee to theoretically take this vote. I think there is a lot of support on it, but the questions are all sort of about like, okay, who exactly is going to be on this board? It's going to be a mix of, city staff and then also outside experts. There are questions sort of about the hope is to actually sort of get developments started in early 2026. Well, how do you get those developments started if you don't have a staff, et cetera, for this for this thing? How is that going to work? And then questions about, I kind of had half an ear on it. And there were questions about like, okay, well, can we change this? If we pass this ordinance, like, do we then have the ability to go back and amend the way that this works in order to either increase oversight or amend something in any way to change the way this plan goes? And it seemed like that might be an amendment that's coming down the pike for this ordinance.
Hi, I'm David Plotz, the CEO of CityCast. We've all set health goals: lose weight, exercise more, eat better. But without a plan, those goals often fade. That may have happened to you. It has definitely happened to me. And that's where Prolon comes in. Prolon's 5-day fasting mimicking diet gives you a science-backed, structured approach to stay on track and see real results. And now Prolon is upping their game with the new Next-Gen 5-day program, delivering the same science-backed benefits in a cleaner, more convenient, and more flavorful format. Prolon is a plant-based nutrition program featuring soups, snacks, and beverages designed to nourish the body while keeping it in a fasting state, triggering cellular rejuvenation and renewal. NextGen builds on the original Prolon with 100% organic soups and teas, a richer taste, and ready-to-eat meals. Developed over decades at USC's Longevity Institute and backed by top U.S. medical centers, Prolon has been shown to support biological age reduction, metabolic health, skin appearance, fat loss, and energy. I've been doing the 5-day program, and I feel so much better. I really enjoy the tasty energy bars, the snacks and soups, and the fact that I can enjoy meals, even though the calorie count is super low. The flavors and textures are excellent. An olive oil snack here, broccoli and quinoa soup there, hibiscus tea, a yummy nut bar. It's got the benefits of a 5-day fast, but doesn't have the challenge of doing it with pure liquids. It's a system reset. And also, I know this sounds funny, but it's not. The packaging and directions are fantastic, clear, and well-organized and thoughtful. For a limited time, you can be first in line to experience the new NextGen at special savings. Prolon is offering CityCast listeners 15% off site-wide, plus a $40 bonus gift when you subscribe to their 5-day program. Just visit prolonlife.com/city. That's PROLONLIFE.com/city to claim your 15% discount and your bonus gift. prolonlife.com/city.
Hey, CityCast. According to me and my calculator, you will spend more time this week between the sheets than you will at work. So upgrade your sheets to Cozy Earth. Luxury starts where you rest. I start my evening in buttery soft Cozy Earth bamboo pajamas. Then I dip into a Cozy Earth bamboo sheet set. They are silky and temperature regulating. Forget the 9 to 5. Prioritize your 5 to 9. Cozy Earth products will transform those hours into a sanctuary. And they take comfort seriously with a 100-night sleep trial and a 10-year warranty. Luxury should not be out of reach, so Cozy Earth is giving CityCast listeners 40% off their best-selling sheets, towels, pajamas, and more. Visit CozyEarth.com and use the code CozyChicago for 40% off, because you deserve a great night's sleep, and sanctuary awaits at Cozy Earth.
Simone, I don't know about you, but I keep seeing these pictures of long ass lines downtown and at DMVs as people are rushing to get their real ID. I know people have reached out to me and asked, Kobe, do I need a real ID? And so my question to you is, one, do you have one?
I do have one, actually. So I got mine when I moved back to Chicago in 2021. I needed an Illinois license anyway. And I was like you, I kind of kept hearing about this in the back of my mind. And I was like, might as well just do it now. And so I got mine when I got my Illinois license when I moved back.
4 years ago. That reminds me how long this conversation has been ongoing.
Oh, even longer than that. Yeah.
Exactly. Do you remember off the top of your head how, like, when the Real ID first was floated? And because I was going to ask, is there any chance this deadline is going to get pushed back again?
Jacoby, this stems back from legislation in the early 2000s. Like, this is kind of a post 9/11 response. And the idea, basically, when Congress passed this was to create more stringent requirements for getting identification in the United States. I think the original date this was all supposed to go into effect, it's like 2008, 2011.
The Real ID Act passed in 2005.
Yeah, it's been 20 years. The deadline's been pushed and pushed and pushed. And then the pandemic pushed it again. I think it was like the last one was in 2023. And then they came out and they said, okay, May 7, 2025. This is it. This is the deadline. You have to have your real ID. We are doing it. It's really happening. And by all accounts, that is the deadline. It does seem to be fast approaching.
May 11, 2008 pushed all the way back to May 7, 2025. And so you have a real ID. How do you know it's a real ID? Like, what is the symbol in Illinois?
The symbol is a star with a circle around it. That's how you know it's a real ID. So if you don't have that, it means you don't have a real ID.
I just got this in 2020 24. So yeah, I just got this last year, and I can't remember if they asked me if I wanted to make it a real ID, and I said no. I really don't remember how that process went.
You know, I doubt they did, because it requires you to have some extra paperwork. You need more
True.
forms of identification, specifically your identity of U.S. citizenship, lawful status, and also Social Security.
I did not have any of those.
Yeah. And so mine, you can see there's the star. It's a yellow circle with a white star on the right-hand top corner.
I honestly, for some reason, been paying attention to this for a while, but I don't think for some reason, I thought there was a more difference between the IDs, but
Nope. It's just the star, just that little star. That's the big one.
And so between now and May 7th, interestingly enough, I am flying on May 1st, but I'm going to Mexico. And so I have a passport. And so do I also need to get a real ID?
Technically, no. So this is, I think, the real trick about all these long lines and what to consider when you're thinking about this deadline. And the Secretary of State's office is saying this too. Unless you need a real ID, you don't have to rush to go get one. And the reason you might need a real ID is, for example, if you're flying domestically and you don't have a passport. So a passport will work in any case that a real ID would work in terms of traveling.
Some people, I guess, just don't like. Do you like to take your passport out for anything other than international flights?
I don't like to use my passport when I'm flying domestically if I don't have to, particularly for like short trips, right? And it's just, I don't know, because replacing a passport is a lot harder than replacing a driver's license. It just is. And so that's kind of my disposition toward it. But if you do have a passport, that will work for your travel needs. The other trick that is a little sort of squishier to me is you also won't be able to enter federal buildings. So anywhere where there's like federal security.
Like courthouse, maybe the state house.
Yeah. Federal courthouses for sure. And so if you work in a building like that, or you have some reason to frequent those buildings, that's another reason why you'd want to get ID. I think another reason is you have people who have sort of licensing requirements that their job has. And so through the course of regular renewal, they might have been advised by their company, like, okay, you need to also comply with this as well. So that might be another reason that you see people who are kind of rushing. But if that doesn't really apply to you and there hasn't been anything that you do where it seems to indicate that you might need a real ID, you might hold off and wait until kind of this rush blows over. And then through the course of your regular renewal, just try to remember to get out to one of these facilities. I think the other part of this, the Sun-Times reported over the weekend, saw really long lines at some of these DMVs. The Secretary of State's office is calling them DMVs now. But long lines at these DMVs, it's also confusing because, of course, not everyone offers the same services. So you really got to look up before you go.
I had to go out to Aurora last time I needed to get a DMV appointment.
That is a long way to go. I've managed to do okay over at the North one. It's funny because the first time when I got my license in 2021, I had to wait in a line that was 3 hours long because I went on a Saturday afternoon. And as it turns
during COVID.
But lines are long on Saturdays because a lot of people can't make it to the DMV, Monday through Friday during business hours, right? Like it's hard. And so and so there's fewer facilities that are open on Saturdays anyway. So the Saturday lines are always really long and you have more people going because it's a weekend. I think the Real ID stuff has had people quite, again, the deadline seems to actually be happening this time. So there's a reason for it.
Well, if you are going to rush to make an appointment between now and the deadline or anytime over the next month, just remember you got to take, as Simone has mentioned, proof of identity, U.S. citizenship or lawful status, proof of full Social Security number, 2 residency documents, proof of signature, and it's going to cost you $30, the same as a regular Illinois driver's license or ID card. We woke up this morning to check the articles like we do. And our friends over at Block Club dropped one that really caught my eye. It was Chicago's biggest foods, from 7-pound burritos to Texas-sized donuts. First, I want to know, are you somebody who does food challenges, tries to tackle these mega foods? Because these things scare the hell out of me.
I can barely eat my whole plate when it's normal. I have no desire to try to eat a donut the size of my head, for example. It's not really on my list of things to do. I do think what Giant Foods can do is the novelty and the shareability of it all, right?
Mhm.
Can you all kind of participate?
And the pictures are fantastic.
I love the concept of a giant food. You know, there's something deeply human about here's this thing, but can we make it bigger? Okay, but can we make it bigger? How big can we make it? How big is too big? And nothing is too big in the realm of human imagination. So I do appreciate that.
I just hope people be finishing these things. Running through the list, they have the Big Dad Donut from Dad Donut over in Chatham. Now, I love a good glazed donut from over at Dad Donut.
I think this is a great deal, actually. So, like I said, this is the one where it's the donut the size of your head,
Mhm.
and it's $5. It's less than $6. Like you could easily bring that to your office or serve as like a coffee cake and be the hit of everywhere. Like that is such a great deal for that particular size of treat, I think.
I love the picture of the general manager, Margaret Shipp, holding two of them in the box. Shout out to Colin. Oh my God. I just wonder if once you get that big, do they retain the same like crispiness, the fluffiness,
The structure and integrity. Yes.
Uh-huh. I wonder if it holds up to the original donut.
I think with a donut, I think they look just from the look of them in terms of the like how brown and the glaze, like I think you could probably get away with it. I think some of the other ones we're going to talk about, I have questions about how well they stay together or maintain what makes them good.
Well, we obviously love them in Chatham, but they will be opening a second location in Lakeview at some point later this year. And so really excited for them. The next one on the list, the Super Margarita from Caesars over in Lakeview. They put like a little picture of the Instagram. Like when you zoom all the way in close, it's hard to tell exactly how big it is. But when you see videos of it, the 64 ounces of it kind of comes into frame a little bit.
64 ounces is a lot.
That's like a big ass 7-Eleven, John.
It's essentially like a little pail of liquid.
My water bottle is 64 ounces. Putting a full ass margarita in this big ass Stanley's nuts. How many straws is too many for that for you?
I think more than 4 is pushing it personally.
Yeah.
Everyone would get 1 8-ounce drink if there were 8 of you. So 2 8-ounce drinks for 4 of you.
I think 4 is.
So 4 is probably solid. You get 2 margaritas out of that if you're sharing with 4 people.
I think 2 people can knock this down. I mean, obviously one person probably is taking this down, but 2 people can knock this down.
One person for a good night. That's a lot of tequila, Jacoby. That's a lot of tequila.
I was saying it more like, because the way I was going to say it at first was like, no one is not. But I was like, there is somebody.
There is somebody.
Who is knocking this
I am not that person. It's not me.
Hell no. But I think 2 people who is purposefully trying to get messed up that night. I think the Super Margarita is probably a good deal. $55.
$55. So let me think. Now let me do some more math here. Because if we say there's 2 drinks a person for 4 people, right?
14 maybe.
Yeah. So that's
13,
not bad.
15.
Okay, that's all right for cocktails. And they come with like cool flavors: chamoy, guava, dragon fruit, hibiscus, lime, mango. So yeah. Okay. I get behind that. I think 4 people is right, though. I think 4 people is the right calculation for it.
I think the one that makes the most sense to me off the bat is the giant pizza from JB Alberto's.
Yes.
Up in Rogers Park. Like I look at that and I'm immediately like, 24 inches in diameter, like 24 inches thin crust. I feel like me and the homie could take that down for sure. Me and my brother could definitely probably rock this pizza.
I have gotten this for a party, actually.
Okay.
I have JB Alberto's I am a big fan. I used to live in Rogers Park and I lived like down the street and they would keep me and my roommate fed for several days at a time. And this to me is the ultimate use of a giant food. I think a giant pizza is perfect. I think it is supremely shareable. Pizza, of course, keeps very well. Leftovers are great. Who doesn't want to have leftover pizza in the fridge? Of course, it's cut tavern style, which we all love as well. And I think I can say with certainty that JB Alberto's does it well. The crust is consistent from
Mhm.
end to end, right? It is a beautifully produced pizza on par with their regular sizes. So highly recommend the giant pizza from JV Alberto's.
Next on the list, Concha Gigante y Café de Olla XL from Mr. Chilaquil in Archer Heights. Describe this one for me.
So this is a giant...
The video is beautiful.
Yeah, this is a giant concha pastry, which if you've been to any Mexican bakery or market, you've probably seen the concha shell. So they often come in different flavors, pink, yellow, brown. And so they have that like kind of shell pattern on the pastry. It's like a sweet bread. And then café de olla is like a spiced coffee. And so it's coffee often made with like, anise, nutmeg, cinnamon, and lots of other stuff as well.
Did you see the video of them singing as they bring it to the table?
Yes. So this one comes with a show when they bring it to you, which I love. A line of dancing servers coming through. The cost is $45, but this is another one where I think it is supremely shareable. Concha in the morning with coffee is just like, it's such a comforting experience. So $45 for, this is another one that's I think it's even bigger than the donut, and it comes with the coffee.
Yeah.
So like if you're at 9 people, that's $5 a person. So if you're at 5 people, that's 10-ish bucks a person, a little less. So yeah.
One where the price is clear in the picture. Like one of the most Instagrammable ones is this one from Pizzeria Portofino, the Portofino purse.
So I've seen this on Instagram and I thought it was fake. I 100% thought it was fake. I thought people were bringing their own glass purses and just like I did not realize this was a thing that was served by a restaurant in Chicago.
This is the one I am most likely to absolutely ruin. I would drop this on the floor so fast, Simone.
It's a glass purse. It has handles and it is open, and they fill it with a cocktail, the Aperol Spritz, Amalfi Spritz, Venetian Spritz, or Paparazzi, which is another type of spritz with elderflower. And it has about 4 to 5-ish drinks in one. You can get a bunch of straws, share it with a few friends. $85.
Got some cut up pieces of fruit up in it.
Yeah, $85. So more expensive than that margarita, which, downtown prices. What are you going to do?
And then the last one on the list, Big Baby Burrito from Martinez Mexican Bar and Grill in Bridgeport.
This is the one I am the least likely to eat, and the least likely to order, and the least likely to be impressed by. And the reason is...
You're not impressed by a 7-pound, 20-inch Big Baby Burrito?
What's the point? What is the point? Because number one, I can't eat a 7-pound burrito. Like there's no way I'm going to finish that. So, right. What shouldn't you share it? The problem with the burrito is it's not super shareable. Like even if you try to cut slices like a wrap, those slices will inevitably fall apart. It's hard enough to eat a big burrito with one tortilla. It also costs over $60.
The price to how big it is, I agree with you. One that I'm least likely to grab. But for me, it's the one that it's similar to the pizza. It makes sense. It makes sense why you tried this and why you pushed this this far. We will drop a link to this in our show notes, along with links to the other articles we talked about today. Please, if you got pictures of other big food challenges, please let us know. Send them over to us. You can reach out to us at 773-780-0246. You can leave us a text or a voicemail. You may hear yourself on the podcast. In the meantime, in between time, please join me in thanking executive producer Simone Alicea.
Hey, thanks, Jacoby.
Before we get out of here, please do me a favor. Bookmark and visit our website, chicago.citycast.fm. Some good news. The 190 pink and white cherry blossom trees that call Jackson Park home are starting to emerge, my friends. According to the Hyde Park Herald, arborists are hopeful and optimistic that after 2 years of disappointing blossoms due to the weather, that this year things are going to come into full bloom and everybody will get to enjoy them. The thing I really love is that even outside of Jackson Park, some people have them in their front lawns in Hyde Park. If y'all have some more hidden cherry blossoms around the city, I'd love to see them. I appreciate y'all for listening. Please be back here bright and early tomorrow, or, whenever the hell you listen to the podcast. We really appreciate it. Share us with your friends and family. I'll talk to you soon. Peace. But I do need another driver's license. Let's go on to the next story.
Because you lost it again, or
let's go to the next story.
why do you need another driver's license?
I lost it again.
What is the one you just showed me?
My state ID.
Bro.
I know. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. I truly think it's in some pants somewhere.
Well, yeah. Luckily, you don't need a real ID to drive, but you do need a driver's license to drive.